I'm Manouk Akopyan. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you to our partners, personal injury attorney Nelson Gevorkyan. On January 25, you guys are going to slug it out. How did you and Steven, how did you land on Steven as the next best opponent for you?
So before Steven, we had a few other names. I was looking to get a fight with Billy as a title eliminator, but stuff out of my control, bro, and out of my team's control didn't go through. And Billy's team didn't sign the paper to become a mandatory. When I received it, I signed that thing, said I'm with it, sent it back, and then they just said that team and Billy didn't send the paperwork back. They didn't want to go through with it. So we moved on. We're looking at Trevor McCumbee as another potential opponent, and some about him having a baby and then wasn't ready for January 25th. So we moved on, and they had a few other names, and then Steven Nelson came up, and yeah, that's who we went with. Steven Nelson. He's a undefeated opponent. He's with a good team, Team Bomac and Terrence Crawford and all of them. He has good experience. He's a solid fighter. He's got some skills. I just feel like he's never been in the ring with someone 6'4" who can box, who can move, who can hit the body, who can land those uppercuts as well. You know what I mean? And I can do a lot more things in the ring. I feel like I'm a very complete fighter. I'm a very athletic, disciplined fighter, and I feel like that's what's gotten me here. And right now, I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life. I have a tremendous training camp and motivated more than ever, you know what I mean? So just excited for where I'm at in my career. I'm on the verge of getting a world title shot and just looking forward to another great night, another DP show come January 25th.
Yeah, again, a main event fight for you. You've headlined at your hometown in Los Angeles now twice, now headlining in Las Vegas as well too. With this fight though, after you knocked out the Polish contender in
Carson.
Carson, in the city of Carson, what did you feel like the next fight would have been maybe a top 10 contender, top 15 contender? Obviously, Steven Nelson is still a name, but are you happy with the quality of the opponents that you're getting at this stage of your career?
Yes, I feel like Steven Nelson, a lot of people may not know who he is. He's not a big name. He's not a he doesn't have like a big name on his resume either. You know what I mean? But I know he's a hungry fighter. I know he knows this is probably like his last chance to like go for that world title conversation, to get into that conversation. And I know he's going to come with everything, and it's what I'm working my ass off for, to just be prepared for the best Steven Nelson possible. And like I was telling you, before we got Steven Nelson, we tried getting some bigger names, some guys and Billy who's ranked even higher than me, you know what I mean? So yeah, we pushed for that fight. Unfortunately, it didn't get made. But after I take care of business January 25th, I'm looking to step up and fight one of those top names and hopefully, get that world title shot soon. And honestly, any of those top guys in the top five, I was ready to get in there with any of them, bro. And that's what I'm in the sport for, to get to the top. I want to be the best. I'm not just a guy who wants to cruise my way and to stack my record, or anything like that. I'm ready to put it all on the line, bro. Let's get it.
Do you think the and Billy was a duck? It seems like the fight was there to be made, but didn't happen. Do you think it was? Do you think he was probably looking for other fights, or just
Definitely other fights because I feel like a fighter like me right now, I'm real young, I'm 23 years old, and guys see me as a high risk, low reward type of fight, you know what I mean? Because I really haven't done much in the sport. I'm a young guy trying to get up there, and they're trying to go for guys like Mungia. If they're gonna risk their all, they rather risk it against a guy with a bigger name, you know, a person who will give them who they will get like more money with, really, you know what I mean? Because I mean Diego Pacheco is just a young prospect kid in their eyes, you know what I mean? So, but it's gonna come to that time where they can't deny me and they're gonna have to get in there with me, and that time is coming very soon.
Well, you're the number one contender in the WBC. You're obviously a highly ranked contender. When we were at the post-fight press conference in Carson after that fight, Eddie Hearn said, "These are the bridge fights that he wants to get you. That just in case Canelo comes calling, you're ready." And
Mhm.
do you feel that that fight could ever happen, or do you feel that he's going to move on from 168, vacate all the belts and all that stuff, and you're left kind of in this new picture in the division? How do you see kind of the next 18 months at 168 pounds with you and obviously Canelo, who controls the division?
Yeah, it's very interesting, you know, Canelo. There's no telling what he's gonna do or what he has planned, you know, but as of like from my part, you know, I'm here to just keep training, keep getting better. I'm just trying to learn as much as I can and pick up on as much knowledge as I can and keep getting better and keep getting sharper. And you know, of course, if Canelo gives us that opportunity, then we'll definitely take it. You know, it'll be a dream for me to fight for a world title against a legendary fighter like him. You know, but if we can't get that fight and the opportunity doesn't present itself this year, then another big name, you know, a Munguia or an Mbili, even a Edgar Berlanga, you know, those fights would be great fights and would definitely get me closer to that world title fight.
What do you make of Mungia's knockout loss? Obviously, the upset of the year shocked the whole boxing world. He was winning a fight until he wasn't. One shot, and you know,
Yeah, bro.
Can you imagine just being in that kind of a position? And not that you're imagining that, but it's like it could happen to anyone, right? Where one
Definitely,
punch
man. And
changes
boxing,
your career.
exactly, exactly. Boxing, that's how it is, bro. You could be winning every round, and then one punch changes everything. We saw that with Munguia. And when I saw it, man, I was just like, damn, like that was supposed to be me, you know. Like, you know, Munguia is a guy who gets hit. He's been hurt in a lot of fights. He's been hit a lot, and you know, obviously he lacks a little bit of defense that showed that fight as well. So, you know, I was trying to push for that fight, you know, to get that Munguia fight because I know my abilities, you know, and I know what I can do in there, you know, and I feel like my IQ and my talent combined with my hard work, bro, I feel like I was able to beat him, you know, and that's how I feel about a lot of fighters, you know, if you ask me. I'll tell you, I'll come out on top. You know what I mean?
What is your assessment of the whole 168-pound division as a whole? Not to get your scouting report on every fighter, but in a few words, like how would you describe, let's say, Caleb Plant,
Caleb Plant's a hell of a fighter. You know, I feel like he's one of the most skilled fighter in the division for sure.
Edgar Berlanga,
Edgar Berlanga, I feel like he's just cringe and talks a lot, you know, and not really too much skills.
and Billy?
And Billy's a strong fighter, who's I don't see too much skills in him. He's just a strong fighter.
Well, I guess we got to talk about William Skull now. He's the IBF champion. So what about William
Honestly,
Skull?
William Skull, honestly, I've never seen any of his fights or any of anything from him, to be honest. But I mean, he's a world champion for a reason, so he must be a decent fighter.
How about the Cuban, Oslis Iglesias? He's
Let's just
13 and
discuss
0.
this. Honestly, I haven't seen too much of him either, but I see he's coming up fast and definitely a future opponent as well.
Eric Bazinian, I know you were wanting to fight him in August, but it didn't. It fell through. What about Eric Bazinian?
Yeah, you see, I feel like that's what that's what happens when we try to make these fights with those fighters is they rather go a different route, you know what I mean? Because they're like, oh, this 23-year-old kid doesn't bring much to the table. Like we have nothing to win and everything to lose going up against him. You know, so Eric Bazignan, we were in conversations. Apparently his manager verbally agreed with my promoter, Eddie Hearn, to make the fight. And then when it came down to signing that paper, they I guess they had the Munguia fight, you know, so they preferred to go that way, which is understandable. You know what I mean? If they presented the Munguia fight to me, I would have took it over him too. You know what I mean? But you know, it is what it is. Eric Banzignani, he's still up there. You know, he's a maybe, you know, if he picks up some wins, then that's another future opponent as well.
And how about Canelo? He's the king of the jungle. Obviously, the guy everyone wants to face. How would you assess Canelo at this stage of his career? I know you're part of Team Benavidez. You guys have certain opinions of Canelo, but I'm curious as to how you perceive Canelo at this stage of his career.
Man, I think Canelo's a GOAT, man. He's a hell of a fighter, one of the best in this generation. So my respects to him, you know, but his time is ticking, you know, and I feel like I'm the next one up. And you know, I feel like I'm the one to beat Canelo when it comes down to get in that fight.
So you think you're going to be the changing of the guard? Benavidez didn't get that chance. You think it's going to be you?
Yes, definitely. You know, I don't think David would ever get that fight with Canelo, but I feel like I have a better chance of getting it. Now that I'm, you know, ranked number one in the WBO, ranked in the top five in all the other sanctioning bodies, and yeah, bro, I just feel like Canelo will maybe in the future consider giving me the opportunity, and if he does, you know, then I'll take full advantage of it and give it my all, like I do every fight.
I mean, it's obvious we're all boxing fans. We all watched fights growing up. When Canelo was coming up, that was around 12, 13 years ago as a pay-per-view star. That means you're about 10 years old. Were you? Uh,
Yeah, I remember watching Canelo when I was a kid. Like my dad had a gym in South Central, so he'd put the fights up and we'd all watch it there. And the fights with like Mayweather, with Cotto, with like all these guys, man. I remember being a kid and just watching them. I never imagined as a kid that one day I'd be in a conversation to facing him, you know, but God works in mysterious ways and he's given me the blessings to be able to go out there and prove myself and now ranked in the top five and who knows, you know, there's a big possibility I can get that fight down the road.
Absolutely. You talk about your size, 6'4", tall, lanky, lean. Like this is the beginning of your career. Do you? We've heard guys like David Benavidez say, yeah, you know, I'd consider going up to heavyweight. How far do you see yourself going until your career is over?
Maybe you know, I feel like I've always been a little thinner, you know what I mean? Like I make 168 super easy, bro. Like right now I'm only like 174, 175 and I'm like 3 weeks out. You know what I mean? So making weight has never been an issue for me. I definitely in the future, you know, after winning some titles at 168, definitely want to move up to light heavy, you know, but you know, I don't see that happening anytime soon. But I mean, who knows, you know, like I said, I'm still only 23 years old. My body will still keep growing. I'm still gonna keep growing into my man body. So we'll see where I end up. You know, hopefully I get big enough so I can get to like cruiserweight or something when I'm older. But for now, I'm locked in on becoming a world champion at 168 for sure.
Well, at least there's one Pacheco in the family who's representing the
Yeah,
heavyweight division.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
That
My little
that, that
brother.
that's your brother.
Yeah, my
So
little brother, man. He's got some big news coming up too, man. He's in some negotiations with some big promoters and you know, hopefully he gets that going and starts his campaign in the heavyweight to get into the top as well.
you could break some news here, Diego. No, it's just you and I talking. No one's listening.
You know, I was this close to doing it, but I'm gonna let him do that. You know what I mean? And
well,
I always like to let things happen before we speak about it, you know, because yeah, that's what I was taught. Yeah.
if I was a betting man, I would guess Matchroom so they could do the whole two brothers on one show promotional angle. But I'll let you guys reveal the news when you're ready.
For
And
sure.
as far as predictions go, let's go back to Nelson. Talk to me about how you envisioned this fight unfolding. How is it? Because you said the body shot was going to be there for you in the last fight, and
Yeah.
it was. So, what are you predicting this time?
For this fight, you know, I feel Steven Nelson is going to be a little bit more patient than Suleski was. So, you know, I got to come out there and establish my jab. Of course, you know, that's my key weapon, my jab, up and down, shoulders to the chest, anywhere I got to throw it to keep him at bay and get him frustrated, you know. And I feel like he'll be a little patient at first, but after he can't get through that jab, then that's when he'll start getting a little desperate, a little frustrated, and start jumping in with some big punches, and that's where I have to capitalize and make sure my defense is sharp, make sure I'm getting out of the way of those shots and coming back with my own counter punches and make him let him know that he can't make little mistakes against me because he'll have to pay for sure. And I feel like but honestly, I feel stronger than ever right now. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm hitting really hard, you know, and all my coaches are telling me, you know, that how my power just keeps getting stronger and better. So I'm very confident in landing that punch and putting him to sleep.
Uh-oh, sounds like a knockout. Now you got to give us the round.
Uh, round, I'm not too sure about the round. You know, I don't want you to blame me if you lose some money. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm
But
not the one betting. It's all the listeners who will be betting.
definitely, I feel like I'll get the knockout this fight. You know, that's what I've been working for. And but if I don't, you know, then it's okay. You know, I'll just make sure I win. You know, that's the main goal is to get the W.
And you're training with David Benavidez. Just give us a glimpse of how David looks in camp. You're there right next to him. He's preparing for David Morrell February 1st. Is Take us through the demeanor because obviously when David turns on the button, when he gets pissed off, it seems like he's a different kind of animal. Give us a preview of what you've been seeing with David in camp.
Man, David looks sharp, bro. I was watching him. What was it? Monday sparring. And he's I mean David's always been a beast, you know what I mean? He's always been a hell of a fighter. He's always had a hell of a engine in him. But this time around, man, I see him looking good, man. He looks in good shape. He's doing 12, 15 rounds of sparring, you know, so he's looking good, bro. I'm excited to watch him after my fight, you know, him take care of business as well.